Okay, so now we're going to look at graphing a system of equations. So we have two separate equations. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. And we're going to graph both of these equations on the same graph. And then we'll find the solution point for the pair of equations. So I'll start with the first equation. That's the top one, labeled number 1. The first point that I'm going to go to is the y-intercept. The y-intercept point on this equation is the number at the end of the equation. So it's this minus 2. So on the graph, if I start from 0, I'm going to go down -1, -2, and place my first point on the y-axis because that's my y-intercept. After that point's done, I'm going to cross it out and take a look at my slope. My slope is the number that's pressed right up against the x. In this case, it's a 4. But because slope always has to be as a fraction, with rise over run, I have to make this 4 over 1. So from the y-intercept point that I already plotted, I'm now going to move my slope, which is 4 over 1. I have to rise 4 and move over 1. So I'll go up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Drop a point. Go up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Drop a point. Go up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Drop a point. Now I see my line. So put the edges of the line with arrows because all lines have to end with arrows on both sides. And label the line with the equation that I just used to create it. Y equals 4x minus 2. That's how I label that line. Now I'm going to grab the second line and show you how you find the solution point. The second line I'll do in blue. This line down here, number 2. Again, the first point that I go to is the y-intercept point. The y-intercept point is at the end of the equation. So on this one, it's plus 6. I start at 0, and I go up positive 6 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For my first point. Let me erase this one because it looks like I put a point there. So there's my y-intercept. Now that my y-intercept is plotted, cross it out. I'm done with it. Now I'm going to move my slope from there. Well, since the slope is the number pressed right up against the x, in this case, it's a -4. But the slope has to be in a fraction so that it looks like rise over run. So I'll make this -4 over 1. From the y-intercept point that I already plotted, which was up here, positive 6, I have to move down -4 over 1. So I'm going down 4 this time because I have a negative slope. Down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Here's my line. End it with arrows. Label it with the equation y equals -4x plus 6. Now, what's the solution points of these equations? Well, it's the only point that both equations cross through. So the solution point of this equation is right here. That point where both lines intersect each other and the coordinate point that both lines share. So what are the coordinates of this point? Well, if I start at 0, I go over 1, up 1, 2. So it's 1, 2 is my final solution for this pair of equations. The solution must be a pair of coordinates, and it's the coordinate pair for the point where both lines cross each other. So the final solution on this one is 1, 2, because that's the point that both lines cross through.